Gooder? Gooder. All right, all right, all right. Hey guys, what's up? You know, it's been snowing a little bit. We're all getting excited. Some of you guys are probably starting to get your sleds out of storage, fire them up, blah, 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 blah. Something I want to talk about real quick is just some preseason stuff that I look for. I mean, generally every year we get new sleds for the fleet, but a lot of people ride sleds for 2 or 3 years, maybe even longer than that. So this particular sled has been sitting here since March. You can tell by the dust, right? And, you know, it's been sitting here for a while. Guys, these are high performance machines. You know that they run 8,500 RPM. Well, mine do, maybe 9 grand, 8,200 RPM. So a couple things I want to talk about. You know, a lot of people fill them up with gas and then put stable and stuff in them. Totally great. I get the condensation thing, all that kind of stuff. But if it was my sled, I'm probably still going to drain that gas out of there as much as I possibly can and put as much fresh fuel on top of that old fuel as I can. Right? It's just something, that's my personal preference. Everyone's different. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it. That's something that I do. I get gas is pretty crazy expensive right now, but that's something that I'm looking for. You know, a tank of gas is 50 bucks. You know, if I can siphon some of that out, you know, put it in your car, put it in your lawnmower, your snowblower, or whatever, anything. Spark plugs, oh, it's crazy how many people don't change spark plugs. They're cheap, they cost nothing. You know, make sure you gap them. If you gap them too tight, like I would say anything probably tighter than like 0.28 on sleds. I mean, this is Polaris. I don't know what Skidoo and stuff is gapped at, but probably a little tight. It's not going to idle that good. A couple things like that. So plugs, gas. You would not believe how many people do not grease their skids. We tear stuff apart for people. We upgrade stuff. We put in shocks, a couple things like that. Maybe we're changing a track or a drive shaft or whatever. Grease your skid, guys. Grease costs nothing. I'm sure you have it laying around the house. Like we said, we're talking preseason. Grease the skid. Speaking of that, track tension, especially after spring riding, the snow is wet and heavy. Tracks, I don't think they ever really stop stretching. They have the initial stretch and then they continue to go a little bit. And we can do a video maybe on just track tension. But general rule of thumb, guys, when you pick the sled up, and you're going to need 2 people to do this, or use a cherry picker or whatever if you got a track stand or something. General rule of thumb, for the most part, is 2 thumbs. 2 fingers where the apex is between the rail and the track. That's how a lot of people do it. You know, these newer sleds, they do have extrovert drivers on them. You can run them a little bit looser. You know, the looser you can run your track, you're not going to rob any power, but at the same time, you risk, you know, ratcheting. Or this is maybe something that I tell myself, but when you see someone wheeling and the track is doing a wavy thing right before the snow, I've convinced myself, like I said, this is a personal opinion, that it's probably ruining my approach angle to the snow. So guys, when I talk about, you know, the 2-finger kind of rule, that's kind of an old rule. But I'll show you what we're talking about. If you have a buddy that can pick it up, or a cherry picker, or a track stand, or anything like that, just to get it up off the ground. So we're talking about this gap right here, you know, right in about at the middle of the rail. 2-finger used to kind of be the rule. A lot of sleds have extrovert drivers now. I run my track a little bit tighter, but this is, to me, this is about perfect. This is about maybe 1.5 fingers or so. But this is what I'm talking about, the 2-finger rule with the track tension. So if it's too tight, you can put it down. If it's too tight, you know, you're going to rob power, but at the same time, if it's too loose, it can ratchet. You can ruin your approach angle to the snow. So it's kind of a, you know, some mid-ground there for you. But if you're unfamiliar with what I was talking about, this is what we're talking about. And this little guy, don't worry about that little guy. Check your track tension, grease the skid. I would siphon out as much old gas as I can, even if I had stable or something like that in it. That's my personal opinion, especially on turbos. Guys, if you're riding something that's boosted, I would drain as much of that gas as I possibly can, because I want to put as much fresh fuel in there as I possibly can. I mean, I would almost say take the tank off and tip it upside down and get as much gas out as possible. Check bolts, guys. A lot of people don't check bolts. That's something that we do on our maintenance days religiously, is check bolts, especially the rear axle. You know, some people tighten the track and they forget to do up the axle nut. Or these front shock bolts right here on a Polaris. these can come loose pretty easily. So this is something that we check all the time. You know, it's just a good thing to check. You can check the rollers in the primary. You know, you take the belt off, and we can show you how to do all this stuff. So guys, this sled is a little dirty. It's sat like everyone else's all summer. Tank's gonna be pissed I just did it on his couch. But I can already tell, guys, my belt deflection's too loose, right? Can you see it in there? It's a little loose. So that's something that I've caught that needs to be addressed, right? So this is the best part, is trying to move this to where I can get this in here. So we're gonna check the rollers in the primary. We're gonna separate this. And guys, if you're unsure what I'm talking about here with the belt deflection, we have a great video on clutch cleaning and maintenance that explains, you know, where this should be and how to adjust it and stuff like that. We'll put the link in the description for you guys to check out. But it's a great video, and it'll pertain to a lot of like maintenance stuff, preseason stuff that you can do with your clutching, because it's pretty dang important. So we're gonna separate the secondary real quick, take this belt off, and then we'll take a peek at these rollers. Try and pop this off. Come on, gotta hold your mouth just right. Click your heels 3 times. Not in Kansas anymore. Voila. Cool, let me grab a pry bar. Because I'm unprepared. Tank, where's our pry bar? It should be right here. Here, let's just go like this. Tank, you eat my pry bar? Where'd you put the pry bar? It used to be in here. Where's it at? We labeled the drawers for a reason. We still can't find nothing. Here, we're gonna use this. Everyone has a flat tip screwdriver at home. Well, I hope. Or at their shop, or at their mistress's house, or whatever. Okay guys, pretty simple. I'm gonna use a big flat tip screwdriver to pry it open a little bit, and then I'm gonna use this as a safety so I don't pinch my finger off. So I'm just gonna go in here like this between the spider and the outside sheave. We're just gonna pry that open a little bit. I'm just gonna shove this in here. So that holds that open, right? So what we're gonna check is the rollers. I don't know if you can see that very good. Can you see very good? Ooh, it's kind of tough. But guys, so this is the weight, cam arm, whatever you want to call it. This is the roller right here, this little rolly thing. And I can't really see it right now because I'm trying to show you guys. But check this for a wiggle back and forth like this. And then also check it, you can actually feel it too, or see it. And see if there's any flat spots in it, because that will affect your shifting. It'll affect the performance. It'll feel like the clutch is sticking. There's a couple things like that. And we can show you how to do all this stuff in another. We're going to do a P85 clutch rebuild, and I can show you how to check the rollers. But take the belt off, you know, grab your pry bar and put it in there. Some people use like a 3/8 extension, but it's kind of dangerous, so don't do that. But grab a pry bar and you can just separate that a little bit, and you can move the rollers. If you feel comfortable, you can always take the cover off, you know. Like I said, we'll do a video on a P85 clutch rebuild and show you more about the rollers and stuff, but just some friendly reminders, you know, spark plugs, drain as much gas as you possibly can out of it. That's my personal opinion. Grease the skid, check the bolts, track tension, couple things like that. And, you know, get ready for when the snow is good to go out there and rip it. You don't want to, you know, ruin your first day or get off on the wrong foot because of something that you overlooked or something that, you know, could have been avoided. So it's just something to kind of check out. That's my personal opinion. And yeah, just give it a good solid once over, guys, and you know, stoked for the season, and it's gonna be awesome. So guys, thanks for watching. Like I said, just a friendly reminder, a lot of people know this stuff, some people don't. You know, some things that we look for on maintenance days, preseason days. Once again, track tension, we talked about that. Checking bolts, greasing the skid, check the rollers in the clutch, belt deflection. And if you're not sure of the belt deflection and things like that and the cleaning, like we talked about, we have the clutch cleaning video. And yeah, you know, maybe give it a bath. This thing's filthy. Keep stuff clean. It's a lot easier to see issues and cracks and stuff like that. Thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe. You've heard that about 57 billion times from everyone else. If you don't like what we're doing, talk some smack, don't really care. Totally kidding. But guys, if there's something that you want to see or something you're looking for, you have a question or you're curious about, you know, say in the comments, guys. You know, we read all of them. We're here to help. We want you to have fun. We want you to get something out of these videos, and we'll see you next time. Guys, if you ever come to the shop, just so you know, this is Tank's couch, okay? We don't ever clean it. This is his couch. He does whatever he wants on it. I'm gonna leave that up to your imagination, but this is Tank's couch, just so you know. If you're sitting on it 3 deep, he's gonna be pissed. He's gonna sit there and stare at you. Huh? You're sitting on their armrest like a weirdo. Huh? This is Tank. If you ever stop by the shop, he'll be here. He's here every day almost every day. Sleeping, eating food, racking up the power bill, and doing nothing. Huh? Should we go home? Good sign off, Tank. You're way better at than me. You want a hug? Give me a hug. Was that a good video? Was that a good video? Huh? Did you learn anything?